Anna is a 35 years old woman from Amsterdam. In 2018, she came back home from being on the go for 5 years, backpacking around the world. She was a wanderer, a barefoot broke backpacker who could never settle. Being back in the Netherlands and slowly starting to root back, so many layers of herself came to surface. The unprocessed pain and grief of losing her father, uncle, and grandma. The pain she was trying to run away from brought her to realize that she was playing victim in her own life, financially and emotionally. She was in severe debt, and when the day came she couldn't pay for her groceries, that's when she decided to turn her life around. She was done with being stuck in the broke loop. She started her financial journey that she calls her inner backpack journey because she went deep within. Fixing her finances and her relationship with money opened the door to so many other things. She regained dignity, trust in herself, more confidence, and money. After paying all her debt and saving 10K, she felt she wanted to help other women with the same problem. She started her online business and selling a money course to give women guidance and structure to start to love and grow their money. Hello, everybody. I'm so happy to have here with me for another episode of the Money Matters podcast, Anna Doesburg.
Yes,
Anna, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, that was a good pronunciation. Thanks.
Yes, there was a little suspense created. Like, yes, I pulled it off. Yes.
You did it. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So I would love to know all about your background story, about your trips, and how you came into your money and abundance consciousness.
Yeah, wow. Always funny when you have to look back on something. It's like, just feels like a lot has happened, but then you're not really aware of it anymore because you're here now. So,
Yeah.
yeah, where to start? I think, well, let's start with just like my financial journey when that kind of happened and what made it happen. Maybe we'll get to that story, but I started my financial journey, I think, 5 years ago in 2018, purely because I hit rock bottom. I was very bad with money. I didn't like money. I thought money was not for me, especially because I was very deep in my spiritual practices then. So I also had like the belief that money is not spiritual. And I was just being like this broke hippie backpacking girl who didn't need money. That was basically like the story I was in. But then I stopped traveling and I came back to the Netherlands where I'm from, and I realized that's not the story I'm living anymore. So it was time to change that. And it happened because I was at the supermarket and I had to pay, I think it was like $20 for my groceries. We have like a debit and credit card here in the Netherlands. So I had like my debit card that got rejected. Then I always had my backup credit card on me. That got rejected. And I didn't have any cash on me to just pay for my groceries. So the shame and embarrassment I was feeling at that moment of like not being able to take care of myself and look after myself, like that feeling, it was like the walk of shame, but slightly different to what we know. But like that just came over me. And I think I was already 30 as well. Like I'm 36 now. And just that feeling of like, what are you doing with your life? Like, look at where you're at now. Like, what? We're not going to do this anymore. Like, it's time to change. Like, it's really time to sort out your shit and, yeah, face your reality. That was basically like the breakdown and the breakthrough, how that happened. So, yeah, I just changed because the pain was very, very deep. So, that's where it kind of started for me.
Yeah, sounds like that. And thank you very much for that vulnerability. As you were talking about it, I could feel it in my body because I think that this is the
Mm,
journey of so many young Europeans. And that
yeah.
cringy moment when you have to pay for something and you doubt whether your card is gonna pass or not.
It's crazy, right? And
Mm.
like I always used to work my way around it. Like I don't know if this is a common thing where you're from as well, but in the Netherlands we have this thing that you can go like into the negatives on just your debit account. So you have like this negative 1,000 that you can move in and out from. So basically, it allows you that when you have like bills coming in, they will get paid even though there's not enough money on the account. So there's like a buffer, but it's not a buffer because it's not your money and it's basically like a loan. And you pay so much like interest on that as well. But I always use that negative 1,000 as my own money. So for like 15 years, I've always used money that was not mine, and I paid like great amounts of interest on that. But I was just head deep down in the sand and just using it as it was mine.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just, yeah, I was just always kind of like working my way around having to face my own problems basically and taking responsibility. Yeah, I think that's also a big part of it. Like just thinking that it's not my problem and that someone would come and save me from it. Yeah, that was a big one. And like having to realize that I am the only one who can save myself, that was like a big wake up call.
Yeah, I think that your story is so valuable because it's so relatable, right? So many people live a certain lifestyle that is not truly aligned with their monetary capacities. It's just
Yeah.
the illusion that our capitalistic societies create that we can indulge or live a certain type of lifestyle, but actually it's creating debt. And that I remember growing up, this was the story of my mom. So always creating a little bit of debt on the credit card and then paying it, and then again. And
Mm,
I remember telling myself, never, I will never
yeah.
pay money on the money that I do not own.
Yeah. That was a great lesson actually, because you can either go like that way and like be like, no, I don't want that, or repeat it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like really depending on how you see that and how you can internalize it in order to break the pattern, basically. So that's, yeah, like that's very strong that you decided, okay, that's not going to be my story.
Yeah. And of course, I
Yeah.
don't have any dependents. Like, I don't have any children who are depending on me. So
Mm,
it's very easy for me to say, oh, I can contain my spendings. But of course, when you have a family, when you have people who are depending on you, it's more difficult. So I'm wondering what
yeah.
happened next after the moment where you couldn't pay for your groceries, and to the moment that you are now teaching other women to create a monetary abundance.
Yeah. I went straight into action mode. That's what I did, and I actually had a book on my bookshelf for already a couple of months that I we do kind of like a secret Santa in my family. So we had like a secret Santa going on, and I had like a few things that I had on my wish list. And Santa gave me a financial book that I actually had on my list. I had a travel book and a financial book on my list, and I was kind of hoping like I want this travel book because I want to go traveling again. But then I got the financial book, and I was like, oh shit, now it really needs to happen. So I put it away up until then. I didn't really needed it, but then the breakdown happened and I felt like, okay, this book is calling me. So I started reading it
Mhm.
and a whole new world opened up for me. A
Which
whole new world. It was by an Australian author. The book is called The Barefoot Investor. So it was an Australian guy, and he was very straightforward and very clear in his way of sharing his money management systems, and he showed me a different way to look at money and to see money. So that was really for me the first step. And then while I was reading the book, I was also going online and YouTube and watching like a lot of videos on like how to save money and how to be frugal and how to budget, and that kind of, like helped me accelerate it basically, because I felt very serious about it.
Yeah. So
I
what?
felt like
Mhm.
No, I felt like it's happening now, and I'm gonna just do everything in my ability to make this work because I want to change, and let's go.
Yeah. It's amazing
Yeah,
because you literally from one second to another, it wasn't,
yeah,
it was a process that kind of sedimented little by little, and then one moment and everything, you hit rock bottom,
yeah,
and then from there. expansion and ascension. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
so what did you learn, or what are the first things that you implemented on your money journey?
I think the first thing that happened to me was facing the reality of the situation. So I thought that I didn't have enough money that was coming in. I thought that I could never be good with money. And I thought that it was just not for me. But the fact that I never actually looked at my bank account, I didn't even know what was going on. I was just very oblivious to the reality of my money. So I think for me, the first thing that really helped me to open up my eyes was to open up my bank account and to start writing everything down and just to be very careful and look at it and see patterns of my behavior.
Mm.
So, yeah, it was like the financial side of it, but also like, yeah, behavior. Like, what was I spending my money on and why? And yeah, really going into that and then creating this like insights and organization around money. Yeah. So the first step was very practical. It was very practical. Like, okay, what is my money doing? Where is it going? How much is coming in? Like very like, okay, these steps. And then after I came to realize that I also had to change my identity around money.
Mm.
So first the practical things and then like the story I was telling myself about money.
Mhm.
Yeah, like money mindset. Yeah.
Yeah, so for the practical thing, it was the classical Excel sheet with income and expense.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Very messy in the beginning. Like I remember I was like there was no structure, but I felt like I had really had to do it. So it was very messy and maybe like the first couple of months because I was just getting to know myself with my money.
Mm.
So I really allowed myself to be messy as well. Like I can be quite perfectionist and like have to do it a certain way and has to look a certain way. But I could also feel like that could potentially hold me back from doing it at all. So I just dropped that and I was like, okay, it's going to be messy. It's going to be a ride, but let's do it and just go with it. And it will take a new form and a new shape as you go.
Yeah. So again,
Yeah.
it speaks to so many of us because the fear of not doing it perfectly and
Yes.
keeps us from doing anything, basically.
Yeah, totally. It like paralyzes, right? It's like, yeah, but I have to do it in a certain way, in a certain app, or in a certain. It's like, no, no. It's like, do it your way. Do what feels good, and just let it be messy and chaotic, because there will be structure growing from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
and it did. Like, I allowed myself to just go with it, and I would create budgets, and I would fail. Like, I would just, yeah, I was like really allow myself to learn and see it as almost as a game, I would say, but I would take it obviously like seriously, but I could also feel like there's money coming in every month because I was just working a job that would get paid monthly. So I knew I can redo this every month because I get this opportunity to like redo my budget and like redo my savings and like reevaluate this every month. So if I'm not like doing the right thing this month, well, let's try again. And yeah, that was actually very helpful as well that I gave myself that time to play, I guess.
Yeah. Like a
Yeah.
money playground.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like trust like that money is coming back and yeah, that you can just have to figure it out.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
in relationship to your money identity, what were the things that you deconstructed and what did you have to let go of? What did you have to invite? Or what kind of identity did you create at the end?
Yeah, nice question. Um Well, like I just mentioned, like my identity was like I'm a broke backpacker traveling around barefoot and I don't need money. Like that was basically what the previous identity was. And as I came to realize that that was a story, I just decided to write down like new things that were like my reality that I could step into. So I started writing down like I'm good with money. I like money. money likes me. I'm good with saving. Like I actually I have the capability to hold money, to hold it instead of like always having to spend it, because that was like the one thing I would do. Like I would always spend it, spend, spend, spend. I could never hold on to it. So yeah, I told myself like I can hold on to it. I am creating a nice space and environment for money to come in and for it to stay. So those things, yeah, I was just reframing my negative beliefs around money, basically.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And what was the layering of things? So you started with simple, messy budgeting, and then you went into shaping your identity into an identity that was supportive of
Yeah.
abundance and creating money, prosperity. And then how did you come to coaching people around money?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I was like on my own journey to become debt free, because that was like something that gave me the focus to go, basically. Like that was the main focus. Like I want to pay off my debt, my credit card, like some other things I had like floating around, because you can always feel that kind of like heavy weight of having to pay someone, even though if it's like $10 or 1,000 or something, it's like it's sitting in your body, like in your energy. So I just wanted to get rid of that and just wanted to get into the clear. So that really like drove me to keep moving, basically. So yeah, I went from that, and yeah, it was like the practical, then the identity. And then I just kept going after paying off my debts, basically, because I felt like I wanted to create savings. Like I've never had savings that I could hold on to. So I just wanted to create that kind of safety net for myself in order to not create any new debt, basically.
Mhm.
Because if you don't have any money or any like a cushion for you to like bounce back on, that creates like another cycle of getting into debt and like spending money that you don't have. So I was like following these principles of like always having like 1,000 or 2,000 euros in your bank account. And then I started to create another bank account for like 3 to 6 months of cost of living in case something would happen, in case you would lose your job, like these things. I was just creating more space and more money to not spend, just to be there for me, to make me feel safe and good and happy, and that I could, through that, I could expand, because I was creating like a safe space for myself to be more creative and to do things for me that were nice, and to basically move from kind of like survival mode into creation mode. That's what it really did to me. Yeah. So I could really look after myself in a nice way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So what do you associate abundance with now?
Abundance. I think I started looking at abundance from a different perspective of having a lot of money. For me, it's also having good health, positive mindset, having good food, nice people that surround you, having a nice place to live, like seeing all these things that are part of the abundance, and not only having the financial abundance, but if you can see already in the small things that there is enough and there is plenty, and that you never run out of anything. I think if you start knowing this and believing this and embodying this, that's where you can create more money as well.
Mm.
So for me, it's not specifically like a number of money that I need to have or I need to see. It's more like a feeling and a knowing that I can always create more, and there's always more that can come, and that I am held and safe and, yeah, ready to grow,
Yeah. Do you
to
work
me.
do you work primarily with women, or do you work with men also, and only in the Netherlands or internationally?
At this moment, only with women. And it's not that I don't want to include men. I love men. Like, there's I don't have anything against them. It was purely the reason that I could target in a certain way and that I could speak to my audience in a certain way. If you know that you're only speaking to women, you can use certain words, and it's also coming from my own experience. So it's easier for me to speak to women as well. So that was the reason that I choose to work with women. In the past, there's also been a few men that came to me and that I've worked with, which was actually very nice, and I learned from them a lot as well. So for now, it's with women in the Netherlands, and it's all in Dutch. Yeah, yeah.
Did you see any major differences between your male and your female clients?
Yeah, I could actually. That's a good question. I've never actually thought of that, but I think the way that it was only 3 men, so it's not like a big research or anything, but the way they were approaching money was, like, very different. As in, they would only look at the practical and financial aspect of money. And the women that I work with already had a sense of, like, money is like energy and money is like a currency, and we have like a money mindset and like these things. I think that that was a big difference, and for men they never actually thought about that. They were like coming from their masculine core, obviously, so that it's like, okay, how can I structure this, how can I plan this, and how can I get more, and how, like, all these like rational kind of things of looking at it. For women, we are more like a little bit more, okay, how do I love money and how does money love me? And like for a man, he would never come up with that, you know? It's like, no, it's money and it's this. So that was a big difference. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems
Yeah.
like the fundamental difference between
Yeah.
cisgender women and cisgender men. Um,
Yeah.
how do you support the women that you work with on their money journey?
I help them through an online course that I've set up. So I have like 7 steps that will take them through every layer of money, what I discussed before. So, like the energetic way, and the spiritual way, emotional way, mental way, financial way, practical way. And yeah, I let them know that there's all these different layers to move through, and that fixing your money is not just a fixing your bank account problem. It's more like a mental kind of issue, or like emotional thoughts and habits, basically. Yeah, and I think that's for a lot of women very insightful and very helpful, because then they get the feeling and like the empowerment of knowing that they can change it. Because I think a lot of women, we have the belief that we're not good with numbers and we're not good with math and we're not good with this. So we kind of like push it away and we like hold off to get into it because we tell ourselves that it's not our thing.
Mm.
But the moment you start realizing and seeing that it's actually emotional and spiritual and like all these other beautiful things and layers that are part of it, then I can feel that women are opening up to it way more. Yeah. So that's, I think it's like becoming aware of the fact that money is important and that it has to do with so many other things than just the number on your bank account, basically.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
piggybacking on what you just said, how does money matter?
Oh, money matters so much. Yeah. For me, money matters because money gives you choice. Money gives you options, possibilities. It gives you peace of mind. It gives you space to create, space to express yourself, to be yourself. It gives you opportunity if you can go on holidays or not, or if you can go on a trip with friends, you know? So it also decides the relationships that you have. And it decides your mental health as well. If you like focus on the stress and like the worry about money, it's like it's taking up so much mental space that you cannot use that to relax and be creative and be spontaneous because you're constantly worried about, do I have enough money?
Mm.
So money affects all the other aspects in your life. To me, I really see that kind of like a pyramid. It's like money is on top and that like affects like all the rest. If we want it or not, it's like, I know a lot of women don't want to, don't feel like they should focus on money because then they feel like greedy, or like they feel like, yeah, it's not, like it's a bit icky, it's like, yeah, I don't want to put all the focus on money. But if you look at it from a different perspective, and if you can see that it enriches all of your life, then you come to realize that you want to give love and attention and focus on your money.
Yeah, and I think that for a lot of women, it's not naturally that we find money icky. We were brought up or we were taught to have that perspective, and that's because it serves well.
Yeah.
Systemic discrimination, institutionalized discrimination to keep women small and not empowered around money and property and their own life choices.
Mm. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure if that's like, if that discrimination is there. It's like, I think it's just also the interest of what we naturally have, and the traditional way of having a family set up, like man and woman. Like the man was always there to provide and to look after the woman, and not in like a controlling way, but in a traditional way. So I think women, like, that's not even that long ago that that was like super traditional, right? That we were having the family with the kids, and I feel like that's shifting a lot now too. It's like suddenly women have to provide for themselves, and we are not used to that. It's new, like what our generation is doing. It's so new. So we're also exploring that. We're like, how do we actually do that for ourselves and have the capacity to be the man and the woman in one place, basically. So I think it's also coming from that. It's like, it's something completely new that we never actually had to learn. So yeah, we're exploring it, and we're like the first generation that's actually doing it as well. So there's no wonder that we're like stuck and like into debt, and like, not knowing how to move from here, because it's this whole new generation. So yeah, I think we can also be gentle to ourselves that we haven't figured it out yet, because yeah, we're having a new movement.
Yeah, 100%. But the feminist movement started way back after World War II, and the segregation of the gender roles was also built on, I don't know if nature or if it was just a conditioning that
Mm,
was built on, well, very, very rudimentary roles of men, the provider, who is hunting and bringing the prey, and women staying at home with the child. And of course, there with the children. And of course, there are certain things that are ingrained in the female nature or in the male nature. But I also feel that we are now dismantling some oppressive systems that try their
mm,
best to keep women yeah, in the household and taking care of the children. I don't think that women should become also men, or men should become also women in terms of gender roles. But I do think that there is space to empower women to be more at ease around having challenging conversations about what they deserve in terms of pay, what they deserve in terms of promotions, just like there is space to bring more awareness around the emotions and the struggles that men could have in their workplace, in their lives as partners. Yeah, and just deconstructing a lot of things that we were for generations taught that were appropriate only for one gender. And
mm,
now I think that it's all becoming lighter and more fluid. It comes with a lot of lack of clarity and with a lot of um, yeah, maybe like a sense of not really knowing what to do and how you can find your way around. But as you said, it's also a beautiful space for curiosity and for everybody to realign with what they want, what they feel called to experience in their lives and on their money journey.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
Yeah. What
Mm.
is your biggest life dream at this moment?
Ooh. I think there's like different ways to look at this, right? It's like if I answer this question coming from my heart, is having a beautiful life where I can do what I like to do, where I can be with who I want to be with, having the freedom to move around as much as I want. Like it's not really like there's not really a big goal of where do I see myself. It's more like how do I want to feel and how can I create that for myself. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. It's like I give myself a lot of time and space to learn and grow and try new things and help other people and having that life. So I just want to continue that because I feel like that's giving me a lot of freedom. And within my business, I just want to keep doing what I'm doing. And like I feel like it's growing a lot at the moment. And like I feel like that it has so much potential and that women are truly like opening up to the fact that we can take charge on this area of our lives. And yeah, I'm just so happy to help them and to guide them and to bring them a different perspective. And yeah, just stand next to them because I'm also still in my own process. Like because I'm helping women doesn't mean that I have everything figured out. Like I am also still like going through my own patterns, of like spending and saving. And it's like I have so much more awareness around it now, but it doesn't mean that I solved all my money problems. It's just that I can see them and I know what I'm doing and I can hold like grace and compassion to myself and see it for what it is. So I think that's something that I want to share as well. It's like this, yeah, like compassion to where you're at now and the potential to see yourself grow and to fix it.
Hmm. Yeah, thank you for the
Yeah,
invitation.
yeah. So it's not really like I don't think I actually answered your question though, but like I yeah, I don't think there's another answer that comes up to me for now. It's like yeah, I'm pretty happy with my life how it is now and that's the feeling I want to continue.
Yeah, and it makes sense. I think that it just maybe comes from an imagination that your life dream should be something that we are sold on through media. But
Mm,
I think it makes so much sense that your life dream would be to feel very at home and to create
yeah,
the feeling that, yeah, makes you feel yourself and to have people in community of like-hearted and like-minded people to have the space to do the things that bring you pleasure. Because
yeah,
this is, I think, what is most important in this life.
yeah.
I often think about this, like on the tombstone, it's not written CEO of X. It's
Mm-hmm.
written mother, loving mother, good friend.
Yeah. Exactly. That's where it's all about, right? It's about these qualities and like having just a good life for yourself
Yeah.
with less stress and I stopped working full time like a couple years ago as well. Like so I'm running my business and I'm also working part-time. So I'm not putting all the stress and pressure on my business to provide for me financially. I just want my business to be a playground and to give me, like I mentioned before, like the freedom to try new things. And if I would put all my eggs in one basket, I would not feel very creative. It would kill my creativity.
Hmm.
So I decided a couple years ago that for me it would work the best if I could have a part-time job that gives me like the stable income every month, and from there I can invest in my business, in myself. I can grow from a place of peace and not tension and stress, because that's what people are feeling. They can feel when you come from like this like pressure or like this pulling or pushing, like that's the energy that you're carrying. And I speak from experience because I first tried to start my business purely having to start the business and to get my income from my business, and I was in a bad place. Like, I was just not happy. I was not happy waking up. Like, I wasn't feeling inspired. I wasn't feeling motivated. I wasn't feeling creative. Like, I was just not feeling it. And I thought I was doing everything wrong and that being an entrepreneur was not for me, and like having all these like beliefs around it. But it is for me, while also working a different job and having that job provide for me.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's beautiful what you said about creating the space to not be focused and to hold so tightly the grip on your business. And I think that
Yeah.
or like clients really, it's difficult for me to call the people that we are co-creating with clients because I feel that it's not doing justice. They are like family.
Mm,
But the people that you are supporting on their money journey, I think that people in general feel viscerally what is the energy that you are coming from. So when you are coming
yes.
from need, and I really need this person to create the income that I need for this month, then people,
Yeah.
so then it's going to be corrupted in its
Yes.
energy.
Yeah, because then you come with the energy like, I need something from you, like you need to pay my bills, like, and
Yeah.
then you just step out of that. What can I bring for this person? How can I help and serve you? Because you just have this focus of like, okay, how much money is she's gonna pay, like in the program and the thing. So yeah, like you said, it's like, can you hear all this noise or is it okay for you?
There was a little bit, but it's okay.
I don't know what's happening, but they just start to like hammer some stuff here. Like, I'd never had this before, but like some hammering happening. So I'm sorry if it's like too loud, or I don't know what to do
It's okay. No
to
worries.
prevent this. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So like we said about this energy. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you mind sharing some practical tips that everybody listening, no matter where they are in the world, could implement to support them on their money journey?
Yes, I could. Yeah. And I would basically go with the way that I've done it. And that's first and foremost, see the truth. Being willing to confront yourself and to go into your bank account and to look at it and to be compassionate and to see what's going on and face the truth. Yeah. And just take small steps as well. Like, you don't have to figure it all out within a month. It's like baby steps, like look at your bank account, for example, then close it and like calm down from the reality, and then maybe the next day it's like open your bank account again and then like start writing just like an overview of what's coming in and what's going out, to have some more clarity around your numbers. Like, that's very important, to know your numbers, to know what's going on. And then the next step could be like to look at your patterns, like what are the categories that you spend the most money on? Is it really in line with who you want to be and who you are? Or is that because you think that's what you need to spend your money on? Like, that's society is telling you to spend money on. That's also like a good exercise to do. It's like what's in line with who you want to be. And I believe that creating a budget around your spending is very, very, very important. I know a lot of people have like allergy around the word because I also did. Like, for me, it was like budget was like, it meant for me that I could not be free with my money and be free with who I thought I was.
Mm.
But creating a budget actually gave me more freedom.
Mm.
And it sounds a bit like contradictive, but having a structure and having like boundaries basically around your money gives you the clarity and gives your money the clarity to know where to go. And if you lack that structure, you can flow more, like we like to say, like, I just want to go with the flow and like see where things are going. But it also means that you don't give it like a strong base and structure for it to come in and to go out, because it's all over the place. So to create those boundaries around money really gives you the freedom within the boundaries to do whatever you want. But to feel that stability and that groundedness, you really need to look at your numbers and to give yourself like clarity on how much money you want to spend. And just be honest with yourself as well. Like, I think we can fool ourselves like very easily. But I think fixing your money and looking at your money really needs some like radical honesty and responsibility for it to change. I think that's like the first steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Anna.
Yeah.
Where can we find you online?
You can find me on my Instagram, which is Anna Doesburg. And I also have a website. It's www.annadoesburg.com. It's all in Dutch though. I might actually like I have been like feeling this like English way of like explaining this as well. I have like some international friends that I've been talking to and they've been like wanting to follow my online course, but yeah, it's all in Dutch. So I have been playing with the idea of maybe go international. So let's see where that's going. So that's the two ways of finding me. It's like on my Instagram and on my website. And through my Instagram, I'm sharing like tips and stories and reels and yeah, lots of other fun things. Yeah.
Amazing. For anybody who wants to learn Dutch or maybe we're gonna find your content in English really soon.
Yeah, to learn Dutch and to learn finance is like two birds with one stone. It's like it can be quite intense though. Like, yeah, but there's a lot of resources around like this topic. Like, I could recommend to follow Natalia Benson. She's American and she really inspired me to like go further in this journey. She's basically like a money mentor. It's like she's speaking a lot about this topic. And the second person would be Stacey Flowers. Like she is someone that she inspired me right at the beginning of my journey because she was speaking very openly about her financial story on YouTube and like how she's budgeting her life and also like the emotional and mental part of it. So she was she still is very inspiring to me. I'm following her program at the moment. So
Oh,
yeah, those two women, like yeah, definitely recommend to follow.
amazing. Yeah. And everything's
Yeah,
gonna be in the footnotes, so where you can find Anna online and about Natalie and Stacy too.
perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
So much. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in, and thank you, Anna, for being here so beautifully and brightly present today.
Thank you for inviting me. That was very nice to be here and to speak about money.
Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed the show, the best way to support us is to subscribe and share. And if you know anybody who'd be a great fit to be featured on the show, please do reach out. Meanwhile, make your money matter.